Welcome from Africa! Actually, we're not in Africa, we're still in Brunei Darussalam, but Leha just got back from a conference in Africa and brought all of this lovely stuff, so it kind of feels like we're in Africa. And Leha is still jet lagged, so she thinks she's still in Africa. But we are here to remind everyone that the deadline for submitting, for engaging with Vietnam, submitting a proposal is very soon. It's within the next day or two, right? 2 days, right? Okay. We want to thank the people who have already submitted. We've gotten a bunch of proposals, and as is the case every year, there's a lot of exciting stuff, and there are a lot of new people. That's what we always love about this conference is that it constantly brings out
a lot of fresh ideas.
Fresh ideas and new people, you know, Vietnamese studying overseas and things like that. So just, you know, the theme for this year's conference is Beyond Dichotomies, Vietnam
from multiple perspectives.
Right.
Yes.
And, you know, what kind of dichotomies do we have here? The dichotomies of development between imaginings of modernity, the West and tradition, and Vietnam and Brazil. I really like that because you just came back from this conference where people were comparing Asia and Africa and looking at them together. Something that we don't usually do, but I mean, you said you saw all kinds of connections when you were there, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, for example, you know, we look at how churches in Zambia have been doing their service in Mandarin Chinese to invite and embrace Chinese workers in Zambia.
Wow. I mean that's
and then how through those interaction, then knowledge production could be examined, studied, and observed.
Yeah. But you also came back talking about all these things where you saw it, like Tanzania was so much like places in Asia, from everything from the food that they were eating,
weather,
the buildings, the educational system. And so, you know, looking at things in that larger context is a way to go beyond dichotomies. So I like that. You've got exploring the construction of difference between East and West in the sympathizer. You know, looking at these ideas in literature, East-West, a huge dichotomy. You've got dichotomies here between state and civil society, arguing that it's not a clear dichotomy.
Exactly, yeah.
And I think anyone who works in those worlds, that's something, you know, that they've discovered, but it doesn't get talked about enough yet in academia. So great to see that. Dichotomies in Vietnamese university education, that'll be interesting.
Yes, and always, you know, the kind of aspirations to be like the West.
Right.
Yeah, lots of that have been
looking
happening.
at poverty. This is one, the dichotomies between the old and the new in values of life of young people in Ho Chi Minh City. I never thought of young and old as a dichotomy, but of course that's a dichotomy,
Yes.
So there's a lot more like this, and thank you for everyone who has submitted already. If you haven't submitted already, please do so. So I've just spoken a lot to help you with your jet lag. What have I forgotten?
What have you forgotten? I don't know. I'm still jet lagging. You've got to continue.
What did you want me to talk about?
I don't know. I don't know.
What was it?
Publication.
Publications.
Yes.
Right. See?
Okay.
You're not jet lagged. So there's the conference proceedings from the last conference is just about to come out. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, you know, we are basically now working on the cover. We are working with an artist to design our own, you know, book cover. So, so the book will be published probably within the next month or so. And we would like to take this opportunity to thank all the editors as well as all the authors who have been working really, really hard to revise their chapters. To make sure that, you know, we will have a solid publication that people can use for reference.
Right.
Yeah.
And so alongside that, we've been working with a group of authors to put out a special issue in the Journal of Vietnamese Studies. That is proceeding forward.
Right.
And then the big news, I think, is that we plan on continuing all of this with the next conference. So there will be you know, still journal special issue, but we're also working with Springer to possibly come
Yes.
out with a volume.
Yes, with an edited book.
Yeah. And so, you know, for anyone who's participating, keep that in mind. Try to get your papers to the best, you know, quality you can, you know, and then there's time after the conference to do that as well. And so publication is again a big goal that we
Yes.
try to attain here.
And also we've received a lot of questions regarding whether or not people can present in English or like in Vietnamese. And yes, Engaging with Vietnam has been committed to promoting both English and Vietnamese scholarship and knowledge. So by all means, you don't have to stay away from the conference if you don't know English or if you're not confident enough to present in English, because actually from our experience, it takes a lot of courage to present in Vietnamese.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the deadline is very soon. Please submit if you haven't done so. Thank you very much if you have. Work towards publication. That's something we'd like to help you do as well.
Yes. And also, we've received questions regarding the program on the 15th of December. So we'd like to clarify it a little bit. So on the 15th of December, we will have a full day program that featured the work of about 20 international participants who are doing their masters and PhDs from different universities as a result of their 4 days field work in An Giang province, focusing on the deltas, you know, livelihood and taking anthropological approaches to understanding urban cities or space and place within the deltas. So everyone registering for Engaging with Vietnam is invited to attend our full program on the 15th. You will definitely enjoy and learn a lot from that program.
So that's called the Winter School. It's a joint project.
Yes, a joint project between the International Institute for Asian Studies at the University of Leiden and Engaging with Vietnam and the University of Social Sciences and Humanities, Ho Chi Minh City. And there will be a group of conveners from different universities in the US, in Africa and Vietnam, as well as, the participants come from different universities and doing really, really exciting and just, I would say, very important work.
And since Engaging Vietnam went to An Giang last year, it's going to be really interesting to see what these people who go out there and do field work and go, you know, to a deeper level, what they come back and report about their field work there.
Yes.
So so it'll start on the 15th with that. The 16th, the main conference begins. Yeah. But again, there's still time to submit. Please do so in the next couple days. Is that right?
Yes.
The 30th, somewhere around the 30th. If it comes in on the 31st, the 32nd, the 33rd, it's still going to be okay. But the 34th, the 35th, that's getting a little bit too late. Yeah. So on that note.
Yes, and also our conference website has the information about accommodation and
that's
local
going up very soon.
transportation as well.
I'm working on that right now.
Yes.
Yep. Okay. So thank you very much. See you at Engaging with Vietnam.
Em không biết là em nói có dài quá không? A little bit long, nhưng mà nói thật là em rất là jet lag, nói lung tung.
I mean, that part in the beginning, in the middle where we got.